Hi, this is Peggy at Headshots by Peggy, and we are here at the Secret Rose Theater in North Hollywood, and we're going to talk about Death of a Salesman, and it's really hard to tell what we're going to talk about. We've got Kevin McCorkle here, we've got some of the cast here, we've got Frank, and someone else will be joining us.
Freddy Giorlando will be here soon.
This is a pretty amazing thing. You've not only putting this play together, but you're also putting the process out there, showing people what it takes to do this.
Right. Well, the whole thing really developed from a scene that Freddie and I did in class at the Lacey Group. John Lacey's the instructor there. Frank and I have taken from him for a while. And we did this scene from Death of a Salesman, and it went really well. It was like you could hear a pin drop. And I flippantly said to Freddie,
"Yeah,
we ought to put this up." Little did I know that he had been in a class with Rebecca Miller at NYU, a directing class, and had her email and the state email, and he got on his high horse and got the rights to it.
Wow.
So that was back. I think I even talked about it
you talked
on your
about
last.
it when you were on the vlog.
Yeah,
last time.
and I had this script with me, and we were talking about when and if and what will happen with this.
Right.
And here we are now.
Here we are
with Charlie, Frank Crim. He's playing Charlie, and Freddie will be in here in a little bit playing Biff and also producing. And I'm just ecstatic.
Yeah.
You know, it's been a wild and fun ride. Bjorn Johnson is our director, and he's got the patience of Job and the creativity of, I don't know, what is his creativity level? Through the moon? You know?
I just think I've completely fallen in love with this guy.
Yeah.
His language, his process is what I was trained in, and you know, being in LA for as long as I've been in, I've known Kevin almost 20 years, if not more. And I've known Bjorn that long and wanted to work with him forever. And then getting a chance to work with him, it's been everything I expected it to be and more. He's so intelligent, and he's so. It just, when it comes to the script and dissecting,
it lives and breathes for him, doesn't it? It really lives and breathes.
He gets into the roots of what Miller's talking about.
The rhythm.
Yeah, and there's
the subtext,
everything. Nothing is left out in the process of what we're doing, and we've done this in such a short time.
Yeah,
it's crazy what we did.
Yeah. What didn't Bjorn say that we're doing the impossible? Yeah, it's going to be done.
It's going to be done.
Here it is. He had a really great take on the table reading process as we went through it. Basically, what we did is we did the play not in sequential order as it's written, but as it's what do you call it? It was the French scenes. So basically, we took the timeline of the play and broke it down and took each separate scene out and went through each separate scene. And I'd never done that before.
If I remember correctly, a French scene is an entrance and an exit.
Right.
So the scene consists of somebody coming into the scene and somebody leaving the scene. So he broke up in the table read process, where if somebody was making an entrance, that's where we would start, and then somebody's making an exit, that's where we would end. Because there were places where there's transitions,
right,
and we dealt with that later. But for the most part, it's like Charlie comes in at a point in the play where he's heard all this noise, and so he has an entrance. Willie is going through one of his mind things. Or Kevin's going through one of his mind things.
Mind bang.
Brad Johnson, amazing young actor who plays Happy.
Brad Jackson. I did the same thing. I said Johnson on the
radio. It is Jackson.
Yeah,
sorry, Brad.
Bradford Jackson.
But
Bradford James Jackson.
But he has come in, and then to interrupt this thing because he's woken him up, and then he's leaving, and I'm coming in. So there's this transition here of the son trying to deal with the father, and then the neighbor who's much more understanding of what he's going through. There was no language about dementia and Alzheimer's and all of these medical labels they have now for what Willie goes through.
Was going through
this was written in 49. There weren't any medical.
Right.
So there's a lot of people who just would think and
he's tired.
Yeah, he's tired. Or he's crazy.
He's
crazy.
beaten up. He's losing
they
it.
They put people in asylums for less.
Yeah.
You know. So this play is so.
Oh, and to get back to the
time,
French thing too, he not only did the entrances and exits, but we did it. This play is all over the place in time and space. It's 30 years ago, 30 years forward. My mind is 30 years forward. My body's 30 years ago. It switches around all over the place. And what Bjorn did is he got it in a sequential state as well. So we really dove in like 2/3 of the way through the play with our first French scene. And it was just such an interesting process, the way he dissected this thing down. And I tell you, he doesn't let us get away with anything. He's very particular about the words and the phraseology of the time. And I really appreciate his dedication to getting Arthur Miller's words out there. And it's our goal and challenge to get them out there.
So you've been a very successful actor for many years, and you've been doing this for a long time too.
It's
So
about the same success. Yeah, Frank's a very successful.
right, and so
We call ourselves blue collar actors.
We're what's known in the industry as working class.
Yeah,
working class actors.
We're not famous, but people recognize us.
Yeah.
Once in a while.
You know, it's like, and then my friends will go, "Who is that?" I go, "I have no idea." They think they know you. I know. They think they know.
Well, you know, this it's a real thing, and Merrick and I laugh about it all the time because I have.
Merrick is her husband, who's also an actor.
I have people, you know, in the studio all the time. I do events, so I meet a lot of people, and sometimes we were at an event, and we were standing there, and I was like, "Oh, I know him. I'm going to go say hi to him." And Merrick's like, "No," and I go, "No, I know him." He's like, "No, you don't." And I go, "Yes, we do." And he's like, "Do not go over there." And the next day, his commercial comes up, and he's like, "That's," and I was
That's
like,
the guy.
"Oh my God, I in my mind knew him personally," and it's so
It's
funny.
funny how our mind plays tricks on us, and
because
that's
when you're in the house all the time, and so you know, people don't realize what it's like for actors because people. I mean, you know,
you've been in Hollywood too long when everybody you see, you think you know.
you know,
Right.
and
that's the craziness of this.
Yeah.
This, you know, Willie's mind is playing tricks on him right, left, and center. I'm telling you, I actually believe that this stuff is happening.
Yeah.
You know, and I just can't believe that in 1949, when this play, it's the 70th anniversary of this play, that Arthur Miller was so forward-thinking in his writing, and these themes that he touches on: family, love, dementia, which, like Frank said, didn't have a name back then.
Yeah, they didn't even have.
But it was kind of understood when somebody was a little off their rocker.
Yeah.
There's also something that fascinates me about this play is the false idea that people think that they're either more successful than they actually are. There's a lot of bullshit.
Yeah.
Whereas there's a great line when Willie tells Howard, who's his now boss, who his father was the boss when Willie worked for, when he says, "Yeah, my sons are doing really big things," and Howard says to him, "This is no time for false pride." Is that Howard, as a young man and is kind of an asshole, gets that Willie's full shit.
Yeah.
And as I sit backstage and I listen to the show and I listen to these lines and I go, God, I know so many people are so
Yeah.
They tell you something that's just not true.
And that's
They
kind
say
of
it
the
enough times that
timeliness.
They believe it themselves.
That's kind of the timeliness of this play, because back then it was Salesman live, you know, telling tall tales.
Right.
Now we get on Facebook and our lives are perfection.
Facebook.
Everything's great. We get on Twitter, we get on Insta, and our lives are all great when they may be falling apart in reality, but it's the false pride.
Right.
It's the I want to prop myself up and make myself look great and actually make myself feel great instead of really just dealing with the situation. And I think that's where Linda comes in. Jules Bruff is playing Linda. She wasn't able to make it today, but she's sort of the force behind keeping everything together. She's the reality of what's going on. She knows almost all the secrets, and it's for her to weather that and work with my boys and work with me to kind of keep the family together. And it's interesting because that was a day and age when feminism was kind of pushed down, and you know, I think the women worked in the factories in World War I and World War II, but then when the men came back, the men took over their jobs. Right. You know, and women were housewives and mothers. But that job is...
Well, that's the tragic about Linda is this abused, beaten down. She, you know, her boys treat her, don't respect her. Her husband is, you know, he does, very many questionable things. But it's that her sense of duty for a woman, and the real strength of Linda is that she loves him no matter what, and she puts up with all that. And I think the audiences sometimes miss that.
I think that she doesn't put up with it. I don't think she puts up with it. I think she strives to make it
well, it's
better.
A sense of duty. It's a sense of duty is what I'm talking about. Is the sense that it's not about putting up with it or not, but her sense of duty is women weren't really allowed or expected or given permission to speak up.
Right.
If Linda spoke up to Willie, you know, there's a good chance that he'd crack her one. You know, and that's the mentality of how women were treated in this day and age. That they had no voice. Right. And Willie cuts her off every time she tries to speak. Willie cuts her off, and it's through the whole freaking play where she's constantly being cut off, and she eats that. Yeah. And the real strength in watching Jules and listening to her is that you sense that where she has no voice. She constantly has no voice, and I think she's been overlooked. I think Jules has been overlooked in that sense in the play so far that they're not. I hear it. I watched it for weeks, and then I hear it backstage, and I can just feel her like she wants to be involved. And you know, hang on, let me finish. Don't talk. Stop interrupting. Yeah. And it's this. It's amazing that's a whole nother story in itself. Yeah. That you got to give
strength behind the family. You got to
give Jules credit for that performance that she does.
The strength behind the family, I think, is key. And the boys, my boys are such wackadoodles. You know. Biff is a free spirit out there trying to find his way, and Happy, I think, is trying to be a carbon copy of me. He's trying to make my dreams come true, and I don't know. One of the great things, now that we're kind of diving into the elements of the play, one of the great aspects of this particular performance of the play is, I think, maybe 15, 20 people. We've been running now for 2 weekends. And we've had great houses. 15, 20 people have come up to me during the course of the run and have said, this is the very first time I've ever seen Death of a Salesman. And that kind of blows my mind. Because there have also been other people that have said, guys, I'd love to see it, but I've already seen it 10 times. Somebody did the quote, sometimes a man just must walk away. And that's a quote in the play. And I totally get it. I totally get it.
Just walk away.
But, you know, it's amazing that this story is still relevant today, and these people that come up and say that's the first time they've ever seen it, they have gotten a lot out of the piece, and it still resonates with them. We have some tears, some real tears in the audience.
That's good writing when it's still relevant, you know.
Yeah, I played Bernard 30 years ago, and so it's a really weird. It's been a really weird.
Now you're Bernard's dad.
Experience.
Charlie is Bernard's dad.
Yeah. So Charlie, I played Bernard 30 years ago twice, and then here it is 30. I think it's a little more than 30 years. And now I'm playing Bernard's dad. And
Bernard's played by Adam Duarte.
Yeah, and
by the way,
fine young actor.
Yeah, great actor.
But it's just this weird thing. Is this play has so much. I've read it a dozen times. I've done the show. This is my third time doing the show.
Still
it's a new character. And it's that thing. And there's someday, maybe in another 8 years, that I'll tackle Willie. But it's this. The play. There's everybody. There's no small part. There's 2 girls in the show, Jamie Smith and Joanne Veros. Yeah. And they have these. What you would think are nothing roles. That one girl has 4 lines, the other one has maybe 5 lines.
I think Joanne gets the biggest laugh of the night.
But here's the thing: is these 2 actresses who sit backstage and wait all night long to come on and do one scene, and yet they come on and they are committed, and they are really, really pros about coming on and doing what they do. It's just fantastic.
So this is what I see when I talk to you guys. I see that you guys are having a blast.
Oh, we're having a blast.
And
No,
that's
I wouldn't say that.
I want to roll through really quick though. Can I
Okay.
have the cast just so we don't exclude
'cause I'm a
anybody?
woman.
Sorry.
See,
I'm interrupting.
Cut
Go
you
ahead.
off.
No, go ahead.
No,
I can't
it's
put
all
the lead in my
right.
own
It's
life.
okay. It's all right.
So
You had a point.
there's me, Willie Lawman, Kevin McCorkle, Jules Bruff is playing Linda. Freddy Giorlando is, I don't know why I'm looking at this.
I was
know
gonna
all
say,
these
why are you
people, but
reading
I
it?
just want to make sure I don't drop anybody out. Is Biff, Bradford. James Jackson is Happy. Adam Duarte, we already talked about him playing Bernard. Cheryl Dooley is the woman, Miss Francis.
Fantastic
She
actress.
just such an amazing job. I can't wait to work with her again in something. Jeff Jeffers is the iconic Ben, and he is a vision to behold. I can't wait for you guys to see him here at the Secret Rose. And then we got Knucklehead Frank Crim there playing Charlie. Steve Andrews doubles up.
Fantastic.
He's playing Stanley and Howard. And then Joanne Verbos is also doubling up, playing Jenny, and
She plays my secretary,
and
Jenny, and she plays one of the girls.
and she plays one of the other gals in the Chop House. But
Jamie Smith.
oh, Jamie Smith. How did I forget
Yeah,
Jamie?
she-
Jamie is the light of
She on
the
that
light,
page?
and she is the other gal in the
Last page.
in the Chop House.
It's a good thing you read it.
Good
Yeah,
thing I read it.
it's a good thing
See.
you read it.
So what were you gonna say?
Well, I was just gonna say that you guys, I started this a long time ago, was saying you guys are both, you've been in the industry for a long time, you've both had very successful careers, and you kind of did this on your own. You just decided, you know what, we're gonna do this play, we're gonna put it out there. And you guys are having a blast. And
Yeah.
that's the one thing I'm always telling my viewers is if you're passionate about this, you're gonna make it happen.
Yeah.
Like I have people that come into my studio for headshots and they're like, oh, I don't ever get auditions and boo-hoo, poor me. It's like, it's not poor me. It's like get out there and figure it out. We were kind of talking ahead of time. Like you've got to be.
You have to
You've
market
got to
yourself.
market yourself.
There's definitely a
You've got to do
hustle
it
for
yourself.
sure. There's
The
definitely a
head-
hustle.
The
You know,
headshot's the ticket.
yeah.
The headshot's your ticket in the door.
But you've
Then
got
after
to
that,
hustle. You've got to
bring your goods.
Even if you have a manager and an agent, that's great. But you're responsible for yourself. But the other thing that really resonated with me just so far is this morning one of my friends, we were talking about dreams. Don't even worry about it. Anyway, the point is, she said, what would you do if you could do anything? Like, what would you do for fun? And I laughed and I was like, work. Like,
Yeah.
that's what I love doing. Like, I
It's
love
funny.
getting behind the camera.
I was talking with my wife about that last week. About I don't know. I'm never going to retire.
Yeah.
It's my goal to play a true life dead person in a series. Like when I die, I want my cadaver
to
be
yeah.
one of the extras in the
Yeah.
series. I want that to be one of my benchmarks of my career. It's good to have goals, isn't it?
Right.
I don't know why. It's just
I had a conversation with a
funny
student
thing.
just last night, and the deal was about, they're thinking about hanging it up, and all this stuff. And I said to her, I wish I could quit this.
Yeah.
I've quit acting so many times, and literally an hour later, I'm back. The most I ever wanted
I've
was
closed
3
my
days.
studio before
Yeah, the whole
too.
thing.
It's like
It's-
I'm
it's-
done with this.
You can
Now
tell
what
the
do I do?
difference, but you can tell the difference
Yeah.
between a successful actor and a non-successful actor. And it has nothing to do with money, success. That's fame. That's something else. It has nothing to do with being on a series, whatever. What it comes down to is, one of my classmates from high school had sent me a message on Facebook saying that I was successful and they were so proud of me and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, well, I'm still living in an apartment. I still have, bills to pay and everything. I go, what are you talking about? And I kind of said that to them, and they're like, dude, you went out and you did what you said you were going to do in high school.
Yeah.
And you're living in LA, you're working, you're on TV, you're in films, you did over 160 commercials. You're successful.
Yeah.
And I had to think about it and went, holy shit.
Yeah,
I am.
am.
Compared to this other big dream, and I think a lot of people fail or they think they're failures because they haven't attained some ridiculous
won that Emmy
level.
Award or got that
Right.
Golden Globe or
And that has
Academy Award.
nothing to do.
Right.
That
Yeah.
has nothing to do with being
to do with it.
successful at what
Well,
we do.
one of the great things about right now is we have this setup here. Come on in, Freddie.
Yeah.
Come on in. We're saving a stool for you.
What's up, guys?
We were using this. Here now you have to
see Peggy.
Hey,
now you have to hold this for
Yeah,
the
it
entire-
is.
No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
You
We
can-
just
you
had
can
it
put
up
it
there.
down.
You can put it down. How you doing?
We're glad that you could take it out of your busy schedule to.
Hey, he's
Well,
out pitching the plate.
it's-
Nothing wrong with that.
It's media day, so I was running around getting people to come out, dropping off postcards and all that. You gotta do it, you know?
You gotta
have to
market
hustle.
yourself.
Gotta have
Yeah,
the
I,
hustle,
I,
yeah.
I
You
came,
gotta
I
do
came
it.
for the $5.
Oh man.
Oh wait, I don't owe you.
Yeah, it's been great. Yeah, I've been running around, dropping off some postcards, letting people know about the show, letting them know where they can see it, how they can get tickets, brown paper tickets. There's a website you can grab tickets at.
She's gonna put all those links up.
All the links are gonna be
beautiful.
below.
Beautiful,
Yeah.
beautiful. Yeah.
So get your ticket, get out here to the Secret Rose Theater in North Hollywood and watch these crazy guys do an amazing show.
And guys, there's amazing restaurants around to have a little bite to eat, and we have plenty of concessions and beer and wine for a suggested donation. So
Yeah.
come,
Snacks.
come ready to eat, drink, and be merry.
There you go.
Wait,
All right.
Mary's coming?
Mary is coming, yeah.
Thanks a lot for watching. Make sure that you subscribe to everyone's social media. I'm going to put everybody's links down below. Make sure if you haven't yet, subscribe to my YouTube, follow me, share this all over the place, leave me tons of amazing positive comments. I can throw in the positive comments.
Totally.
Yeah. Most importantly, have an amazing week. I'll see you next week.
Thank you very much.
Aye.
guys.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Oh,
I think we did
thank you,
it.
thank you so
I
much.
think it was successful.